And welcome back to Open. Well, in her memoir, Out of Status, Jenjen Furer tells the story of the hope, struggles, and the tragedies she and her family shared in trying to accomplish the American dream. It documents the family's encounters with the immigration system. She says tore her family apart due to their position as out-of-status residents. She hopes this book will put a face to all families wanting a better life here in the States. Jen joins us now to give us more insights into this continuous journey she and her family are on, and we welcome you now to the show, and good to have you.
Hi, thanks for having me here.
Good. So when you talk about the challenges, I mean, obviously you document in your book the challenges of immigration. Give us a little bit of a background as to what it was like in this whole immigration process.
I left my country like 28 years ago because I graduated on top of my class, but there were no jobs for me, and I needed to support my family. So I came here in a tourist visa and then tried to be legal. And then my family followed me, and we all came on a tourist visa and hired lawyers to make our stay more permanent. But we weren't lucky, and some lawyers didn't show us the right way, and it ended up having half of my family being deported. My parents, my 3 brothers, and now they're in the Philippines, and I'm here, and we have like children and uncles and aunts, and family kind of torn apart.
Mm-hmm. So when you use the term out of status, that's the term that's being used, and so that is what causes family members to be on the other side, and you're right here.
Right.
Talk to us a little bit about this out of status and what makes that happen.
When people come here, they have a visa, and we came here on a tourist visa, and it expired. You're only given a certain number of like months, and then in my parents and my brother's case, they were able to apply for a business visa, and it lasted about 2 years. 2 or 3 years, and then it expired. So after that, there were no other ways for them to get a green card. So we hired practically about like maybe 5 lawyers, kind of retained them, like $10,000 here and $10,000 there. Mostly, you know, we all chipped in so that we could have this American dream of being here legally. But then they weren't successful. They told us no one ever deports and no one ever gets deported. No one knocks on your door to tell you you have to go back. But then it happened to us, even after being here for almost 20 years. And you know, we formed community. You know, we formed friendships. I have a brother who was here when he was 13, and he had to send back after 20 years. Went back to a place where he kind of like being thrown out to a different planet.
So what happened? They actually knock on your door? What happened?
They actually knocked on, it was October 27, 2005, at 5 o'clock in the morning here in New Jersey and one in California. At the same time, they knocked on the door because I have a brother in California. And they said, and then they picked up my brothers. They gave my parents letters that they have to go back to the Philippines. They took my brothers, chained them, handcuffed them, and then detained them in Elizabeth Detention Center, and the other one is in California. They did it. They synced it at the same time. They did it at the same time.
Mm-hmm. So you take this story and you put it together and you write a book, and you write a book about the experience. So for people who are going through this, what's the message that you want to share through your book?
I want everybody to know that everybody comes here because this is a country of freedom, opportunities, and you can make a better life here. Mm-hmm. And everyone has an opinion what it's like to be an immigrant, or legal or illegal. But nobody really knows the reality of what it feels like until you actually experience it. And you can't really hide from the law. And then you really have to find good lawyers, honest lawyers, to help you really get your status into a permanent status.
When you say find honest lawyers, honestly, you must have had tremendous time with lawyers who took you through the system and also took your money at the same time.
Correct. In fact, the last one, the reason why they were all deported, even though I was already an American citizen at that time they applied, the lawyer got disbarred in the middle of the hearing. So right there you could tell that he wasn't really an honest lawyer. He just took advantage. And us throughout
he got disbarred?
He got disbarred. And right there should have been a sign that maybe should have just dropped the case, but I guess we're already in the process. So we went through it with whatever lawyer the law firm gave us, and they didn't represent what the actual law was about. They didn't tell us that when you file for this particular law to be legal, the consequence is you're going to get deported. But this lawyer kept telling my family members that no one deports people like you, because we work, we have our own businesses, we help with the community, and we even paid taxes. We didn't take any public assistance. We wanted to really be legal, and he kept telling us, the lawyer kept telling us, that no one gets deported. But then they actually, you actually get deported.
What's the status of your family now, given the fact of what's going on?
I have 3 brothers who are back in the Philippines. I've already petitioned for them. The paper said they were approved, but the quota for brother and sister takes about 20 years. My parents are old, they're sick. I had a petition for them. It was approved. We went through the process, and only for the embassy to say they're not even eligible to apply in the first place. So they all have 10-year ban, 10 to 20 years.
So
ban.
Before they can come back this way, they have to wait at least 10 to 20 years.
Correct.
So how does this make you feel, given the fact that you've been through the process, invested money, this and that, only to hear 10 to 20 years?
It's heartbreaking. I mean, the country's supposed to put families together. I mean, they have grandchildren here where, they've raised here, grew up here, born here, like the new generation of American citizens, and we can't, they can't come, and yet they really have. I mean, the reason why people come here, it's because this is a great country, but yet they're going to be stuck there for like 10 more years or 20 years, depending on how fast or how slow the whole process is.
What would you like to see happen out of all of this?
I want people to see that, to get the human experience of all this. I want the lawmakers to review the immigration system, the whole immigration policy. Everybody talks about it, but I don't know if there's anyone who's strong enough to really review it. I mean, everybody who has a dream of being able to help this country be better should have an easier way of coming here. Like if you have a family member and you want to sponsor somebody, if you're from the Philippines, it shouldn't take 20 years for brother and sister to be reunited. Even parents, who made a mistake of hiring bad lawyers suffered from the consequences and stayed there for 10 years.
Well, Jenjen Furer writes the book. It's called Out of Status. It documents her life and the immigration struggle of both herself and her family. We encourage you to get it. Now, they can get it where?
Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com.
All righty. Well, Jen, we certainly thank you for coming and sharing your story, and best wishes with yourself and your family. And, of course, if there's any updates and stuff like that, you have an open door to come on back here and tell your story.
Thank you very much.
All righty. Jenjen Furer, thank you so much for being with us. All righty. We got to take a quick